This is a first edition of Newton's Principia. There are only a few hundred known copies of this book. This is the book that arose from the apple falling from the tree. This is an iconic moment for me. Charlie wasn't wrong when she thought that the apple was rotten right to the core, because Newton was actually a bit of a wanker. He may have only published his book to get there first, as German mathematician Leibniz had independently come up with calculus around the same time. Inside, we've got woodcut diagrams made with blocks of wood and pieces of wire attached to them. The Royal Society, who published this book, nearly went bankrupt right before this came out for publishing a long book all about fish. So Principia nearly wasn't published. Some of you might remember from literally the first history you ever learned, Samuel Pepys, the famous diarist of the Great Fire of London. People think, oh, he's just an ordinary man, isn't it so great that we have his diaries? But he was actually incredibly rich. He literally ran the Royal Society at this time, so that is why on this page it says Samuel Pepys. Often in the past, the books that we remember as really famous and foundational today weren't a huge success in the author's lifetime, but this is not an example of that. This took off pretty quickly. The only problem was that it was in Latin, and while this is the general scholars' language across Europe of the time, ordinary people couldn't really read it. So Newton was a bit of a snob about that. He made it for the intellectual few rather than the masses. Emilia de Châtelet was a French mathematician in her own right, and she translated this book from Latin into French. And that makes Châtelet, in part, responsible for the dissemination of this work around France. I think that's as important as having the original idea. It's all well and good having these laws of motion, but if no one knows about them, it's kind of irrelevant.